What's going on, guys? JSGC 171 here, and we're here now for our first Premier League transfer 2017-18, let's get it correct, season transfer review. Now we're going to do a few of these. I'm going to try and make it a weekly episode, depending on the success, of course, but having gone through the Manchester City transfer update, and that's done a lot better than what I was expecting, getting more views, getting more likes, and getting comments, so I'm obviously doing something right. I thought we'll expand it to the Premier League and we'll see how that one hits off. So firstly, just wanted to thank you all for viewing them. I've noticed the videos are now slowly but surely starting to get a little bit more popular, starting to get a few new subscribers, so I feel like we're moving in the right direction. We're getting some solid, good content, so hopefully we'll deliver again for this video. So don't forget to look out for more Manchester City transfer updates if you're a Man City fan or you're interested in anything that's going on at Man City. And also don't forget to look out for more Premier League transfer updates as we head through into the new season. So we're going to go in alphabetical order, it makes sense. The transfer window opened on June 9th. It's obviously just a few days after that, so we've already got some transfers up and rolling from before June 9th and after. All the Premier League clubs have announced their retain list, so we can go through all that. And so we've got plenty of things to get through. Obviously, this is probably going to be quite a long video. The transfer updates from here will be a little bit more detailed, will be a little bit shorter than this one, they'll be a little bit more detailed, so I'll be able to go through it all, so this is just kind of at a glance, just provided a good update for everyone viewing. So we're going to start with Arsenal and their released players, Yaya Sanogo, Stefan O'Connor, Christopher de Graça and Kostas Pilias. Now there's no real surprises there's no big players there. So you imagine that Arsenal are looking for their squad depth of 25. They're obviously in the Europa League this year, so they're going to looking for to be rid of maybe a couple of the fringe players, and obviously looking to bring in a couple of other players as well. They brought in Shade Kolasinac, I think his name's pronounced, from Schalke on a free left back. A couple of the big teams in the Premier League were also after him, so Arsenal won the race for him. Solid signing for them, great left back. Does make me think, are Arsenal after another centre-back, or they're going to push Monreal to centre-back and use Monreal as a backup left-back, or are they going to play in a 4 at the back or 5? So, you know, Kolasinac makes sense for them. Good signing for Arsenal, good solid start. And obviously, they've not spent a penny at the moment. They do need to improve on their 5th place, though, because Wenger has got himself a new 2-year contract. So you feel like he needs to, rather than just winning a cup, he needs to start delivering Champions League football, because obviously you want to be considered a big club. You've got to be in the big competitions, and obviously you get far in the big competitions too. Now, Bournemouth have released 3 players, Alexander Neil, Jake McCarthy and Callum Buckley. Again, nothing too sinister for them, so you'd expect that they're going to try and keep hold of as much as what they can. Maybe a couple of changes here and there. I mean, they've already started their transfer with an undisclosed fee. I don't know how much that is for the signing of Chelsea's backup goalkeeper, Asmir Begovic, which is a really good signing. He's a really good goalkeeper. So we'll see how his progress goes throughout the season. And I do want to add that I think Eddie Howe's doing an awesome job at Bournemouth too. So we'll see how they do in the following season, following up from their mid-table solid season from the 16-17. Now, newly promoted Brighton haven't got rid of anyone yet. I'm not sure if they've announced their retain list just yet. I'm not sure if there's a deadline for it. Maybe they're negotiating it, or maybe they've got no one out of contract. I'm not too sure. But I do imagine that Brighton will be getting rid of a few players and as they go through that transition from a Championship club into a Premier League. They've also got Premier League money now to spend. So that's always a boost for them. So I imagine they're going to invest in some players now to get their squad depth up to scratch, make sure they've got 2 players for near enough every position in case of injuries. And they don't want to be getting relegated at the first time of asking. They're an ambitious club. A nice stadium, so they want to build on it. They've signed a couple of players already, Josh Kerr from Celtic and Pascal Gross of Ingolstadt, or Gross of Ingolstadt, for both for undisclosed fees. So they're already adding to their team. So it'll be interesting to see how Brighton do this season. I expect that they'll be making more signings. I'm wondering if they're going to go abroad, or they're going to sign some young players, British talent, or are they going to go for Premier League proven quality like most of the other Premier Leagues? It's interesting. England under-20 team have just won the World Cup. Are they going to be looking for youngsters? Are teams like Huddersfield and Brighton going to be looking for younger players? It's possible. Burnley haven't signed anyone just yet, but they have released quite a few players. George Green, Pingling, Christian Hill, Olmuwewi, that's a nice name. Michael Kitely, and of course Joey Barton as well with his betting scandals. So they're going to be after at least 2 or 3 players there to improve on their squad. And their biggest battle actually in this transfer window is going to be Michael Keane. Are they going to keep hold of Michael Keane, or is Michael Keane going to leave? It's an interesting one. I think the developments on Tom Heaton also might be an interesting one. I'm not sure if too many teams are after their players. I do know Man United have declared an interest, Liverpool have declared an interest in Michael Keane, but whether they can keep hold of the keeper too, I don't know. So that's an interesting one. So they've got a battle to keep hold of their players. Whether they do or not, if the big boys come sniffing in, remains to be seen. Now, Chelsea also haven't brought anyone in, current champions. I shouldn't imagine they'll be adding too many players. I do imagine they'll be adding maybe 3 or 4 players, and imagine them 3 or 4 players that they do add will be quality. They'll be expensive. Big name signings, really improving on their squad. They've been linked with players like Bonucci. They've also been linked with players like Alexandro. So these are the big players from Italy that they're getting linked with. So it'll be interesting to see if they do end up signing, and who Antonio Conte wants rid of. Diego Costa wants to leave. Romelu Lukaku's been linked. Maybe that'll be next week in the transfer update when it all gets made official. I will add that this is all going to be official transfers put in here rather than rumours. I'm aware of the rumours, but I think there's a lot of rumour videos out there. This is more just a general update, a general opinion. It gives us a rough idea going through the post-season / pre-season period of the season, which in my opinion is the most interesting of all. Chelsea got rid of 4 players. Solanke, one of the players to really impress at the Under-20 World Cup, has moved to Liverpool on I think he's gone on a free, but they've had like a compensation package agreed. I don't know how much that one's for. Begovic, obviously we've discussed, has already gone to Bournemouth, a quality addition for them. To Chelsea's on the hunt for a backup goalkeeper to Thibaut Courtois. Atsu's gone to Newcastle for £6.2 million. Yeah, I suppose Newcastle are trying to keep hold of players that they've had on loan, so that's a good signing for Newcastle. I imagine Newcastle will be looking for more players just like that, and Rafa Benitez looks to build a solid team. And my most interesting, Juan Cuadrado has gone to Juventus for £17.3 million. Now, I think Cuadrado is a good player, a little bit ill-disciplined in the Champions League final. He's had, I think, a couple of years loan in Juventus, and they've made it permanent now. So that's an interesting one to see how he performs at Juventus. Of Chelsea got rid of another player of quality like they have done with Kevin De Bruyne. Who knows, remains to be seen. They've also released Alex Davey and John Terry. Is John Terry finally going to hang up his boots? Is he going to go into punditry? Is he going to go into coaching? Is he going to find himself another club? We'll see. Crystal Palace haven't brought anybody in, but they've announced their retain list, and there's a fair few players to get through here. So here goes. Corey Andrews has been released. Appiah's been released. Jonathan Benteke, not the main Benteke up front. Fraser Campbell, Luke Kroll, Flamini, Friars, King Elliott, Joe Ledley, Randall Williams, and Ben Winter. So they're after quite a few signings, and I imagine they're trying to sort out the managerial crisis that they're going through since Sam Allardyce's leaving / resignation as well. It was pretty weird. So that's probably a big rebuild job to do at Crystal Palace, so they'll do really well to sort that one out in time. I mean, we're already midway through June, made no signings, and still trying to sort out the manager, so that probably needs sorting ASAP for them. Everton haven't brought anybody in. I don't expect many of the clubs have brought many in. Transfer has only just opened. Kone's been released. McAlhenney, Bainbridge, Brewster, Donahue, Duffus, Russell Griffiths, Hunt, Yarney and James Yates have all been released. No big names there for them apart from Kone. Lukaku's been rumoured to have found another club already that he's put with his agent on social media. So Everton may well have a big task ahead of them to improve on them. But they're getting linked with players like Michael Keane, who Man United's also been linked with. So they're looking to address the issues. It's not like they've not got money to spend. They've had a takeover bid. They've got 50 million for John Stones. They're going to get a lot more money for Romelu Lukaku. So there's no excuses for Everton, in my opinion. There's no excuses for them to go out there and sign solid players, really improve their team, and get them into that situation that David Moyes worked so hard for years and years, where they were really difficult to beat. They're on the verges of breaking into the top four. They even got into the top four and got into the Champions League, but were booted out in the qualifying round. So they want to get back to that, obviously. So they've got a lot of work to do. And so the only way to do that is to sign solid, team-working, hard-working players and just get a conveyor belt like that. It's not impossible to do. Teams like Mönchengladbach, Borussia Dortmund, Hoffenheim, they're all very successful clubs in Germany in being able to be rid of play. Wolfsburg as well, get rid of players, replace the players and make them solid, sell them for profit, sign somebody else, make them good. It's what Everton is, and there's no reason why you can't be successful doing that either. Huddersfield haven't announced their retain list just yet. They've brought no one in, they've brought no one out. I imagine they're still partying. I think they're still waiting to officially, apparently it's been agreed that Wagner is staying, but they're waiting for something official, but that's in the pipelines. Leicester City managed to put their caretaker manager in charge now. I think he's got a 3-year deal, which is quite surprising for me because he isn't really proven. I mean, he got off to a solid start for Leicester, but with his solid start, he kind of disintegrated towards the end of the season once they exited from the Champions League. So they're looking for maybe adding a few quality players now. Craig Shakespeare has done a great job. Whether Leicester do a great job next season remains to be seen. They're a tricky one. They're very unpredictable. Riyad Mahrez wants out. I've seen teams getting linked with Jamie Vardy. I've seen Man City. I've seen Atletico Madrid be linked. I don't think he'll leave, but this is the uphill struggle for them now. They're still kind of facing the repercussion from their highs of 2015-16 season winning the Premier League. So they're going to do well to keep hold of them important players. And if they do end up leaving, they do need to sign some quality addition. There's no excuses again. They've got a permanent manager in. They've done well for the last 2 seasons. Well, 3 seasons actually, even staying up. They've done great. Done great in the Champions League. They need to build on it. They need to, with the correct management, head in the right direction and solidify themselves as a pretty decent Premier League club, which they are. Now, Michael Caine, Demige, Brandon Fox, Kipre, Matthew Miles, I thought it was Mills then, Matthew Miles, Mitchell, and Marcin Vasilewski. They've all been released, so there's nothing too serious there for Leicester, so everything as you'd expect for them. So they've got a lot of hard work to do this summer, like all Premier League clubs. Liverpool have signed Solanke on the tribunal fee from Chelsea, so it'd be interesting to see if he gets any games. They're getting linked with everyone from around the world. Van Dijk, who they've apparently signed, then not signed and pulled out the deal, is pretty weird. They're after a central defender, obviously. I think they've been linked with goalkeepers. Who haven't they been linked with, actually? They're just getting linked with everybody. If you've played in Germany, there's a good chance that you're getting linked with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Now, players that they've released, we'll go through this quickly. Brewitt, Brimmer, Dunn, Gomez, Lewis, Meninja, and Phillips. There's nothing too surprising there, is there really? I mean, you've probably never heard of these players. I've heard of not many of them either. So Liverpool are going to look to try and build up on their squad depth for the Champions League and see if they can launch a title challenge next year. Be interesting. Man City, they've been busy. They've released Pablo Zabaleta, Gael Clichy, Jesus Navas, Caballero and Sanya, as well as Billy O'Brien and Ellis Plummer. They've offered a new contract to Toshin Adarbayoyo. He's been offered a new contract. He's not yet signed it. It's not been announced anyway. So they've got a lot of positions to improve on. Wing-backs, midfield, perhaps in the strike force. But they have added already a wide player / attacking midfielder in Bernardo Silva, £43 million. I think that's the most expensive transfer as of yet. And they've also added Ederson from Benfica for an undisclosed fee, which is about £35 million, as covered for in one of my previous videos if you want to check that out. So they've got a lot of hard work to do this for Man City. I'm still expecting them to sign maybe 3 or 4 more major big signings. I expect there'll be probably 3 of them will be defenders. because they're not yet added to their wing-backs getting released. Man United have released Zlatan Ibrahimovic, so they're on the hunt for a striker. Morata's close, apparently. How close that is, I don't know, but it makes sense, that signing, I suppose. But you are spending, what we're talking, 60, 70 million pound here for a player that I'm going to ask, is he better than Ibrahimovic? Let me know in the comments if you think he is. Let me know in the comments if you don't. But apart from that, I'm not really sure what Man United are going to do. They're closing in on a defender from Sweden who plays for Benfica, whose name I would love to tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know a lot about it. I will tell you more about it once that transfer comes completed. The transfer has not been completed, only a deal's been agreed. Might be an interesting one. I've seen a lot of Man United fans saying that him and Bailly have cost less than what it had cost to sign Van Dijk, which is slightly humorous, in my opinion. Newcastle haven't yet announced their retain list either. They signed Atsu already. I imagine Rafa Benitez is going to try and improve on their squad depth because he loves rotating. He's one of them. Southampton haven't signed anyone yet. They've released 4 players. Lloyd Isgrove, Willard, Martina and Martin Enquiries have all left. So they've got some work to do. Now, I thought Southampton were a little bit disappointing last season at times. I feel like they should have done a lot better in the League Cup. They played so well. I thought they were desperately unlucky. So they're probably looking for a repeat performance. I'm just wondering how Southampton go from the mid-table / top half to becoming a consistent like Europa League team. How they make that step up. Same problem as what Everton's got, really. So I find Everton and Southampton 2 of the more interesting clubs in the Premier League. What are they going to do? Are they going to have a relegation battle? Are they going to struggle in the upcoming season? Or are they going to step it up now and put pressure on the big boys? To do that, they need to go out there, spend money, make signings. And them signings don't have to be like highly influential big shirt sale signings. They have to be solid team players. Like, what's the point in having 1 or 2 individuals like Stoke have had with Enquiries and Arnautovic when you could spend all that money improving on the team and getting a solid team, if you get where I'm coming from. Talking of Stoke, they signed Darren Fletcher from West Brom on a free. He's been released. Good signing for them. I'll be a little bit critical of the signing. He's not getting any younger and he's going to cost them a lot of wage. So it's a strange signing. I do think that rather than signing players like that, you could go out there and sign young British, English, solid players, but it hasn't cost them a penny. But they're earning millions, these clubs, so there is no reason why they can't go out there and sign young players. I mean, the way forward for Stoke isn't signing players like Darren Fletcher. It's going out there, making a statement, signing young English talent and producing next big players. That's just my opinion. I don't think it gets done enough. But I do think Darren Fletcher's a solid signing for them. I'm not criticising the signing. I'd love to see them go out there and sign young players. Premier League's very physical. It's very quick. Darren Fletcher's very physical but not very quick. So, is he going to get game time? Is he any better than Charlie Adam? Shay Given's been released by them. Daniel Backman's been released. Liam Edwards, Harry Isted, Joel Taylor and George Waring. So, yeah, Stoke, I imagine, is just going to be same old, really. I'm not really sure how they can improve on the side either. Obviously, the Shay Given being released, they're going to maybe look for another backup goalkeeper, because I couldn't imagine Jack Butland sitting on the bench. So that's a good player in itself. So they need to just build on to the team, really. And really add to the team. I'm not all impressed with them offering a new contract to Peter Crouch. I don't think that's the way forward for them. I do feel like in areas that they're doing so well, they're dragging it down by doing not so well in other areas. So players like Peter Crouch up front getting offered new contracts isn't the way forward, when they've brought in a couple of years back players like Mama Biram Diouf. They've gone forward and gone and made statements like signing Enquiries, Arnautovic, Bojan as well. And then, you know, not really built around it or built anything there. So I feel like they're still in a transition stage, and it's been, what, a few seasons now since Tony Pulis has left, and they're still trying to identify themselves as a club. So if they do quite bad in the transfer market, they're going to struggle in the Premier League next season, in my opinion. So this is a very important summer for Stoke. Swansea City haven't brought anyone in. They've released a fair few players. Alex Samuels headed to Stevenage for an undisclosed fee. Tom Holland, Tom Dyson, Owen Jones, Josh Vickers, Liam Shepherd, Marvin Emnes and Tremmell have all been released from Swansea. So they've struggled last season. They've done well to stay up. They need to build on them staying up in the Premier League. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves getting bitten on the bum, really. So this is a massive summer for Swansea, sorry. So it's interesting to see who they're going to sign. I think it might be quite interesting to see if they can keep hold of Gylfi Sigurdsson as well. I've heard back in January that Lorient was, or however his name's pronounced, has been linked with Chelsea as well. If Chelsea end up getting rid of Batshuayi as well, perhaps Chelsea's going to bring in Lukaku and Lorient as well. So keep your eye out on that one. Tottenham heading to Wembley have released Philippe Lesniak. Kyle Walker's apparently close to joining Man City, so they'll be looking for a backup right back, because I presume that Kieran Trippier is going to take up that position. They're going to battle on the hands to keep all the Dele Alli, Harry Kane, Danny Rose. I think they've had a solid season. Players like Lamela, Son, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Hugo Lloris, excluding that howler for France, of course. You know, they need to keep hold of the solid players. And it's interesting to see how they do on Wembley as well. This could be either a make or break season for Tottenham. If they can get used to that pitch and perform better, unlike they did at Wembley in the Champions League, then they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. If they're going to struggle, then they may struggle to keep hold of their Champions League place. So Tottenham, interesting one. Watford haven't brought anyone in just yet. Still trying to go through a little stage from their new manager that they have every year. They seem to go through managers like anybody's business. Released a fair few players. Treon Johnson, Andrew Thomas, Josh Rowe, Real, Overden. There's some great names here. Ogo Obi, Charlie Bannister, Ola Adiomo, Matthias Renigia? That's a great name. And Rennie Gilmartin have all been released. So see how Watford do. I think Niang's headed back out, so they need another striker. They're going to sign him permanently. I don't think so. Played so poor at times last season and played so well at other times. Inconsistent, so they need to just address their issues, go out there and just play football, basically, and do what they do. Obviously, the objective for these clubs is to stay up, so they're going to do everything they can to keep hold of that, so they keep their Premier League riches, really. Interesting. That's why I have a lot of respect for Eddie Howe. Not really gone out there and spent lots of money. They have started to now-ish, but they've not really gone out there and spent loads and loads of money. He's stuck to his philosophy, and it's really worked in the Premier League. If more managers came to the Premier League and went to clubs like Watford and played their philosophies and it worked so well, then the Premier League would be a wonderful league to watch, but they don't. They keep changing, they keep going through transition periods, and the clubs just end up suffering for it. I've seen it time and time again. We've seen clubs like Bolton, we've seen clubs like Blackburn, Wigan, all struggled going through transition stages. Imagine how solid Bolton were under Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce left. They tried to change the philosophy and style of play under players like Gary Megson and Owen Coyle. It went through the whole stages and it just disintegrated, and they've not been back since. So it's a really hard thing to get right, and the summer transfer windows are a make or break for clubs like Watford, clubs like Stoke and Swansea. You need to really add in players. These are clubs that have been in the Premier League now for a few seasons, so they need to start building on that and solidifying themselves with solid team players. Put a lot of emphasis on team. You need a solid team to do well in the Premier League, just like any division when you're playing in a top division. Talking of transition periods, we've had West Brom, who, in my opinion, are playing some not very pretty football, but really effective, doing really well under Tony Pulis. And they've added nobody to their team at the moment, but they will. They've released a few players: Callum Jones, Pocognoli, Jack Rose, Andre Wright, El Bazedi, Barbier, and Darren Fletcher's left, so they're going to be looking for a couple of players to add to their team. I wonder who. So one to keep an eye out on. And last but not least, West Ham, quite an interesting one. Obviously gone through their first season now at the London City Stadium. Strange name, isn't it? They're looking to now build on their team, looking to maybe replace Dimitri Payet. Is replacing Payet with someone like Robert Snodgrass going to work in the Premier League in the long term? Not really. So they need to go out there and make a statement of intent. And they're still looking for that striker that they've been on about now for over a year. Arbeloa has been released, have signed in response. Zabaleta from Man City, who I speak from experience of watching Zaba for years. He's an awesome player, but he's not getting any younger. So I imagine Sam Barham is going to have to step up to the plate sooner or later, because Pablo Zabaleta can't play every Saturday, then Wednesday, then Saturday, then Tuesday. So it's a good job they're not in Europe, because with players like Zabaleta, we've seen it at Man City, just not good enough. Good player. I imagine he's on a lot of wage, so that signing doesn't really make sense, but I hope he works out, because I absolutely love Pablo Zabaleta. Sam Hauser's left, Sam Ford, Noyle and Wesley have left. So that concludes the transfer video here. So that's all the players that have left the clubs and have been signed at the moment. So keep an eye out for more signings and transfer videos coming up for the Premier League. I'm going to try and make this a weekly one. If this is a success, then I'll definitely be making it into a series for the whole of the summer transfer window. The Man City one's proven to be better than expected for me, so that definitely is going to be a series throughout the summer. We had the first one released, which I'll leave a link at the end of the video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like the video, because these videos are going to come a lot more regular. Please check out all my other football videos if you are interested. My Enes Unal video's done fantastic. We've got player profiles, we've got new signings, players to be released. We've got Zabaleta if you're a West Ham fan videos. You've got linked with any Man City players, then let me know and I'll maybe do a video on that, because that is my little area of knowledge. Don't forget to like if you wish to. Let me know that you like the video. Leave any comments of any recommendations, any opinions, because I do love reading what you are all saying. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content. And I will see you later. Peace. Ciao for now.